So now that I've laid an excellent foundation to what ProConnect Pay does, and of course, why we do what we do. See, what we are doing is very simple. Let me give you guys a very good example. So last week, I was speaking to someone. She's a fellow African. She's from Kenya. She has a PhD from Oxford, done her master's in Stanford. She currently runs her own startup. She has worked with the World Bank, with the IMF. She has worked with the United Nations. So she's truly, a global African. And there's something, when we're having a discussion, there was something she really said that, that shocked me and that really made sense to me. She said that one of our major dreams, sorry guys, just 1 minute. She said that one of our major dreams, here in the US, is to build a community of Africans that succeed professionally, that succeed financially, that succeed economically. So it's not just about creating, professional African bodies, Association of Nigerians, Association of, and all we just focus on, the minor stuff. No. Building that powerful community of high flyers, of high potential individuals, of people, obviously, that can be mentored, that can be guided, that can be coached to succeed. So imagine having that large network of Africans. Someone works with Microsoft, someone with Google, someone with Meta, someone with JP Morgan, someone with Morgan Stanley, someone with BlackRock, someone with the IMF or the World Bank or the WHO, basically conquering the world. And I was super charged and excited. I was like, wow. Imagine in ProConnect Pay, this is exactly what we are trying to do. And someone in the US with vast experience, vast exposure, is already doing the same thing or intends to do the same thing. Trust me, with hard work, with diligence, with academic excellence, it is very, very possible to succeed in this climb and in these environments. Very possible. But the big question is, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to go above and beyond? Do you have what it takes to succeed? Are you an high potential candidate? If you know you are all of these things, please tell me in the comment of the meeting, tell me in the comment that, yes, Elder, I am high potential. I have what it takes to succeed. I am willing to go above and beyond, ethically, morally, to succeed. But not just succeeding, I want to also ensure that I make an impact and that I am committed to academic excellence. I am committed to reading, to researching information, to doing it on my own. I am committed to that process. That I'm not desperate. I am intentional, and this is a purpose-driven mission to conquer the world. So let's move on, of course, to the sono bonum of why we're here today, which is simply the reason we're here today. A lot of us will come with questions. Okay, Elder, so now that you've laid the foundation and the vision and the purpose behind what ProConnect Pay does, excellent, beautiful, we love this. But let's actually go into the substance, the mix of why we're here. Is this a loan, or is this a grant, or is this a scholarship? I want to know. Then number two, if this is a loan, how will I assess the loan? Somebody getting $100,000, is that real? Is it even legit? Are you sure? Okay, if it's true, do I require my kidney or my destiny or my placenta or my passports to assess the loan? Or do I need to go and sell my entire village to serve as collateral? So if you say, okay, I need all of these things, what is the interest rate on the loan per annum? How do I pay back the loan? How do you even ensure that me as an African, I will pay you when I graduate? Let's start paying it when I'm a student or when I graduate. What are the hidden terms and conditions to access this loan? Tell me everything today. I want to know, so that you will not carry me go where I don't know, like they say in Africa, right? Like they say in Nigeria. What are the kind of courses you support? Because you said something about commercially relevant courses. So what are the kind of courses you support in ProConnect Pay? I would like to know that. But more importantly, which schools do you support in the US? Which schools do you support in Canada? Then the last part, okay, now that I've heard all of these things, so how do I get started? Can I resume in September or can I resume in January? Elder, do I need to write GRE or IELTS or GMAT or TOEFL? Those exams, they can be quite difficult and quite expensive. Do I need to do West valuation? All of these questions, we'll get to answer them over the next 15 minutes. So first things first, let's even start with the pathways available in ProConnect Pay. When I mean pathways, I simply mean what are the opportunities academically that one can pursue if one wants to study in the US or Canada. So the number one pathway and our most popular pathway is our MBA MSc pathway. Our MBA MSc pathway. So if you are here, you're a graduate of a university, you're a graduate of a polytechnic, and of course, you have a first class, you have a 2-1, or you have a sharp 2.2 that's above 3.0. You can either pursue an MSc or an MBA. An MC, if you study an MBA today in the US or Canada, your annual income based on Coursera can go above $100,000. I'm not boboing you. Go and Google it on your own. How much does an MBA graduate earn in the United States per annum in 2023? You see various data to back up my claim here. You don't have to believe me. Just Google it up. You have a phone. That's why you're here. So if you study a STEM designated MSc, STEM simply means science, technology, engineering, or mathematics oriented MSc, including health oriented MSc. You can earn income that exceed at least $75,000 per annum. And see, I will say this till tomorrow, man. The United States is sweet. Like, it is sweet. Sweet. Canada, oh, besides, of course, the cold in Canada, Canada is also very sweet. Every Nigerian I know, every Ghanaian I know, every and Zambian I know, every Kenyan, every South African are relocated with purpose, that relocated intentionally, that already had their career going for them in Africa, are currently doing very well in these clients. They are not doing anything illegal. They are not doing any and under the table blue collar kind of jobs. They have white collar jobs, and they mostly work from home. Mostly work from home, remotely. You are not bothered about lights or security or like all of those frivolous things we think about back home in the continent. Everything you need to succeed is fully available. So if you decide that an MBA is what you would love to pursue, I can tell you for free, it is the most significant investment you would have made in your career, because you can never study an MBA and be stranded. Take it from me. You can never study an MBA and be stranded. Never. It's not just about coming to study here. It's about the extracurricular activities you take on top of your education, attending all career fairs, networking with people in the field and area you want to work in. That's why you have LinkedIn. You study in a particular country or in a particular state or in a particular city or in a particular university because you've tied a purpose that, wow, this company that I love, that I would love to work in, operates here, I want to go to this particular place. That's what they call purpose-driven education. That's what they call being intentional. A friend of mine, just one of the many friends I know that work at the World Bank, her goal while she was working in Nigeria was to work with the World Bank. She had done her research and she noticed that taxation was a big deal in the United States and for the World Bank. So when she was coming to do a master's in law, she decided to focus on taxation. She was already working in Nigeria as a legal practitioner, as a corporate lawyer with the Make Sense law firm. Throughout her 2 years of studying, that lady said that the only people she was networking with every day, the school she went for first was in Washington, D.C. That's first things first. So she was intentional about the school she was going to. So she started with the school first in D.C. Close to the World Bank, her aspiration was in. And every day, that's how she'll be connecting people on LinkedIn that work with the World Bank, trying to book coffee and meets, where you just have like a coffee, or probably have like a drink somewhere in the afternoon or in the evening to discuss with them so they can share their experiences with her. Then, when an opportunity opened up for her to work rather than for her to study in the classroom, see, this course, you can go and get a job rather than studying. She decided to take an unpaid internship with the IMF. An unpaid internship with the IMF. So for 3 months, she was working with the IMF. That gave her further access to the World Bank Group. At the point of her graduation, one of the many persons she had met and she kept in touch with sent her a link saying that, oh, see, there's an opportunity, you go and apply. It fits your qualification, being that you already have work experience back home. And she said that the first day she went for her interview, on the spot, she was given the job offer. Now, see, that rarely happens when it comes to the World Bank. The World Bank, when they are recruiting, it can take months, even years, to conclude the recruitment process. But because of networking, and see, I met her last week, it's the same point. Networking is key when it comes to succeeding in the United States. Relationship is key when it comes to succeeding. So if you are intentional, you can succeed. And that success begins to come from the first day you resume on campus. The first day you resume your step of foot, boom, you begin to build those relationships towards the future you want for yourself. So you have the first class, you have the 2-1. It does not matter what you studied in your first degree. What we look at the most is your work experience. If you're a 2-2 graduate, 3.0 and above, and you're an HND graduate, but you have at least 7 years minimum work experience. We look at 10 years and above, but if you have minimum of 7 years consistent work experience as a polytechnic graduate, you can apply for a direct MBA or MSc in the US. As a 2-1 graduate, as a first-class graduate, you can apply for an MBA or an MSc in both the US and in Canada. So that's for our MBA, MSc pathway. Now, there are a lot of us that we love technology. We love the startup world. We have a tech MBA pathway. In some schools, they call it STEM MBA. I went to university to a certain business school on Friday called Emory University. It's here in Atlanta, in Georgia. And this school has a STEM MBA program. It's the same MBA, but now has that element of STEM. Which means that with that kind of MBA, you will majorly see opportunities working with global Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 technology companies. Whether it's software, whether it's hardware, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's an application development, whether it's social media, it does not matter. With a tech MBA, your career path is clearly defined in the tech ecosystem. And the best part, there are schools that even offer specialized program, masters in fintech, STEM MBA, tech MBA. Some people do general MBA, then they have specialization in IT, in business analytics, in data science, in marketing, in finance, totally dependent on you. And of course, what you decide you want to do. So the same category of guys that qualify for the MBA are the same category of individuals that also qualify for the tech MBA program. First class graduates, 2-1 graduates, 2-2 graduates with 3.0 and above. But now, if you're a 2-2 graduate, you cannot apply for a direct MBA to Canada, unfortunately. But there's a pathway for you. I'm going to explain that as I move on. But with the US, you have a 2.2, 3.0, you can go for a Tech MBA direct in the US. The same also with Polytechnic graduates. You have minimum of 7 years consistent work experience, max at 10. Of course, you have above 10 years, good, perfect for you. We also have our science-oriented pathways. You know, those of you that study microbiology, biochemistry, and science lab tech, all of those, you know, sciencey, medical, health-oriented form of courses. So you want to become a scientist. The good thing is ProConnect Pay also funds people to take on an MSc in science-oriented courses. So whether it's life sciences or physical sciences, we'll be very happy to fund that education. As a scientist in the US today or in Canada, you can earn more than $94,000 per annum. You can still verify this data I've given to you. How much does a microbiologist earn in the United States? How much does a chemist earn in the United States? Even those of you that study chemistry, physics, trust me, awesome opportunities for you post-graduation because those are core-STEM courses. Then, of course, we have an exciting pathway for those graduates, university graduates that have a third class or that have a 2.2. And they're like, I must go to Canada. It's only Canada I want to go to. I don't want to go to the US. I just want to go to Canada. So if you are here and you have a third class or you have a 2.2, whether it's a high 2.2 or low 2.2, so long as you have a 2.2, a second class lower, and you are adamant on, I want to study in Canada, ProConnect Pay has designed a PGD to master's pathway in Canada. Now, with a PGD, if you just do a PGD today in Canada, with your first degree and your experience, you can earn up to 75,000 Canadian dollars per annum. Now, this is just with a PGD. Now, imagine when you top it up with an MBA or an MSc, you can earn more than $100,000 per annum, which will probably make it about 145,000 Canadian dollars per annum. So that's why we designed that PGD to master's pathway. In our minds and hearts, we know that a lot of you that might have a third class or a 2.2, it's not your fault. It's not your issue at all. The academic environment you find yourself in might just be the issue here. But the best part, look at the best parts. In ProConnect Pay, we do not discriminate. In ProConnect Pay, we do not look down on your academic background. That's why we designed the PGD to master's pathway. So it simply means that you must do a PGD, and when you're done, you you are mandated to do an MBA or an MSc. A PGD is not sufficient to keep you competitive in years to come. So we'll fund you to do a 1-year PGD, and we'll fund you to do a 1-year master's, either an MBA or an MSc, consistent with either your first degree or your work experience. So it means that to us, your degree does not matter. What matters to us is your work experience. Now, there are a lot of us that, people that come to ProConnect Pay. ProConnect Pay, I would like to switch to nursing. I want to be a nurse. I want to go to health. But now, we don't do that desperate kind of health transfer that we do in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya. No. If you are switching to nursing, it's because you are eminently qualified as a BSc graduate of a science-oriented course. And when I mean science, I don't mean quantity surveying and geography. No, people that study biochemistry, microbiology, and science lab tech, public health, all of those healthy courses, all those sciencey courses that looks a little like health, radiography, and what are all those plenty things that they study within the science ecosystem. If you studied any science course in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, and you would like to transfer to the US to do a nursing program, whether it's the US or Canada, There's what they call accelerated bachelor's in nursing program. You do it for 1 year in some schools. In some schools, you do it for 15 months. In some other schools, you do it for 2 years. Because you already have a background in sciences and you graduated with a first class or a 2-1 or a sharp 2-2, you can apply for this accelerated bachelor's in nursing program as a science graduate. Please don't come and ask me, can a mass comm graduate transfer to nursing? I will shake way for you. Sorry, like they say in Africa. Only science-oriented graduates can pursue this nursing pathway. And you have to be a first-class graduate or a 2-1 graduate or a very sharp 2-2 graduate. If you're a 2-2 graduate to 3.0 and above, you can only apply to the US. But if you're a first-class graduate or a 2-1 graduate, you can apply both to the US and to Canada. You become a nurse in 1 year. You also write the exam in that particular state that enables you to practice. As a nurse, just starting out, your income per annum can exceed $70,000 US. Google it up. It's there for you to see. And we have about 30-35 universities across US and Canada that offers this pathway. We'll pay for everything. Your feeding, your accommodation, your professional exam, your tuition. When you graduate, you become a licensed nurse to practice in the state you studied in. And if you are lucky, that some states even have reciprocal licensing and agreements, where if you write an exam in New York and you now move to Louisiana or to Georgia, and they both have a nursing licensing reciprocal program, it means that with your New York license, you can go and practice in Georgia, Louisiana. Why? Because the states, the medical boards in those states have that reciprocal licensing program that allows you to take your license from there to come and practice here. And also you can also move from here to there. Those are the kind of technical things you look out for. Okay, this state I'm going to study, how many states do they have reciprocal licensing program so that I can move to better opportunities if I see one? So this pathway is strictly for science-oriented graduates. Science-oriented graduates. Then, of course, we have one exciting pathway that gives me joy the most, our mathematics pathway. We know for a fact that in Africa, when you study maths, the highest you can become, the highest, the best you can become in your life is a lecturer. If you really want to follow that maths as a career, the worst is becoming a teacher. And we know for a fact that we do not have many schools in Africa that pay teachers very well. Only a few schools, the big schools, that pay teachers well. So as a maths teacher, you are underutilized, you are underpaid, underappreciated. And at the end of the day, for all of the hard work and brilliance, you don't even get to see the financial reward over your lifetime. It's quite annoying, trust me. So it was shocking to me when we were doing our research then to now learn that in the US and Canada, as a maths teacher, you can earn more than $85,000 per annum. Not as a maths teacher, sorry, as a mathematician. And all of the careers connected to mathematics. If you have an MSc or a BSc in maths today, and you want to do an MSc in maths, you can become a mathematician, a statistician, a teacher or a professor, a developer, an engineer, a sound engineer, a financial analyst, investment analyst, a research analyst, data scientist. There are so many career paths for you with a postgraduate degree in mathematics. And trust me, the US and Canada appreciate that skill and that competence. It is not easy to be a mathematician. To tell us even having an MSc in mathematics, it is not easy. If it's easier, everybody will study mathematics. So if you want to change the scope of your life and the scope of opportunities you get, we encourage you, come and take on an MSc in mathematics. Of course, anybody coming to take this, you should have a 2-1 or a first class. If you have a 2-2, it has to be very sharp. For you to take on this MSc mathematics, you can see mathematics is a STEM designated program. That's why I said science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We're always silent on the M. But the truth is, in ProConnect Pay, we give priority attention to the M. You can go far with the mathematics degree. And the best part, see, the best part, guys, all of this is this. When you're done with your MBA or your MSc, we only fund 2 years of program. Now, remember that you would have gotten a job and you're now in the system full time. Some of you cannot decide that I want to go and do a PhD on my own. I'll be funding it and be paying it small, whilst I'm studying, whilst I'm working. You are totally allowed to, but we will not fund that. But the good thing is, we've already given you the foundation to work here, to end here, to enable you take on a PhD part time. Work, study, pay up little by little. Not so. Imagine taking on that PhD again in mathematics. Your career options becomes limitless. Limitless. And lastly, the pathway that concerns undergraduates and HND graduates again. Undergraduates and HND graduates again. So let me start with the freshman undergraduates. We have 2 pathways for the freshman undergraduates. Some of you are here, you have your brothers, sisters, cousin, nephew, your younger one, somebody somewhere that wants to study abroad from 100 level. But now what Poconepe has done is this. We have created a pathway that allows that undergraduates to start their education in Covenant University or Redeemers University or Landmark University. They do their first 2 years here in the continents. Now, when they are done with their 200 level, we'll begin to process them as a transfer students to continue their education in the US or Canada. In the US or Canada. When they are done, they've graduated. So when they've done 2 years, they will now transfer to go and do their 300 level and their 400 level in the US or Canada. And of course, they have to study a commercially relevant course here in Nigeria. And the good thing is this, in Nigeria, trust me, these private universities we partner with, they all have make sense commercially relevant courses. So they start back home, do their year 1, their year 2. Once they get to second semester year 2, we will begin to process them out to continue their year 3 and their year 4. If they want to do engineering, they will have to be in year 1, year 2, year 3. Then in their year 3, second semester, we'll not process them out. Now, there are also people that are currently undergraduates in university. Currently, they are undergraduates in a Nigerian or African university. So they are currently in 200 level, whether it's a public university or a private university, it does not matter to us, so long as you're currently in 300 level. And they are also willing to transfer currently. Like, Elder, I want to resume in January abroad. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Elder, I want to resume in September. As of today, is it still possible? In some universities we partner with, yes, it is. You transfer, do your 3 and your 400 level and graduate as a graduate of an American or Canadian institution. Now, this is the best part for polytechnic graduates. This is the best part. If you are a polytechnic graduate that graduated 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, this year, in fact, even if last week, and you are willing to transfer, what it simply means is your HND degree you have that you just acquired 5 years ago and below, even if it's the last month or last week, allows you to transfer to the US or Canada and do a 2 years BSc in 300 level and 400 level. So you can do 300 level, you do 400 level, consistent with the course, of course, you studied. If you study something else, like maybe like mass comm or something education, would have to switch to a business course. And you go and do your 300 level and your 400 level in a university in the US or Canada, and you graduate as a BSc graduate. So you now have your local degree and you now have your global degree. That's the pathway that will change your life forever. Imagine going from Ogun State Polytechnic to University of Georgia or to Georgia Institute of Technology, or to University of Delaware, or to American University, or to the Carnegie University of America, or to Babarashi University. Just imagine that reality, moving from your polytechnic in far away somewhere in Africa and coming over to the world where you get to dominate. That will be a game changer. A game changer. Because in your class, you will see Indians, Mexicans, Italians, Canadians, Americans, practically everybody and anybody in the world that loves American education, that loves Canadian education. So HND graduates 5 years and below, that just graduated 5 years and below. Even if you graduated last week, you are eminently qualified to pursue our global undergraduate pathway. Eminently qualified to pursue, we call it Africa to the World undergraduate pathway. Africa to the World undergraduate pathway. It's a global undergraduate pathway that guarantees you acquire a global undergraduate education. So let's now move to some key questions and of course some key elements about the loan. It does not matter the pathway you take. No matter the pathway you take, no matter the pathway you take, the loan we provide pays for your tuition, which is like your school fees. It pays for your cost of living, which is your accommodation, your feeding, your utility bill, educational materials, your public transportation, your jaye money, money to buy clothes. See, guys, you wouldn't even need to be packing boxes of clothes when you live in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, because over here you get them at cheap. Practically, you just renew your wardrobe with one trip to any of the shopping malls. We get to pay for your health insurance. We also get to refund and reimburse your international flight ticket when you've landed on campus. And if your goal is to acquire a new MacBook, you want to buy a MacBook, or you want to get an iPhone, trust me, we get to provide all of these things seamlessly through the funding we provide. Now, see, the money will not be given to you. We cannot, if we give you $100,000, guys, you will have to contest for governor of your state, or local government chairman, or go collect chieftaincy title, or probably marry 10 wives or 10 husbands. So the loan is paid directly to your school once we validated that you're a student and that you've been given admission. So your school is the one you will have to apply to get reimbursement for your flight ticket money and also get your gadget. They will not give you the money for your gadget. We're the ones that will buy the gadget for you. So your school will reimburse us back. So of course, you're requesting for it. People have iPhones and MacBook here in the US, and it's not for guy man or for forming big man that you've landed in life. No, it's simply a tool everybody has. It facilitates and makes your life easy when it comes to doing your assignments, your tests, and all of the online learning you'll be taking part in. Now, the maximum amount we give per annum, like some of you already know, is $100,000. The maximum amount we give for the 2 years is $100,000. Per annum, $50,000. In 2 years, $100,000. The interest rate on the loan per annum is 12.99% for postgraduate students. So if you are going for the undergraduate pathway, the global undergraduate pathway, we get to charge 13.99% per annum. In fact, for the loan for undergraduate, we have 2 categories of loan. There's a particular loan that you charge 13 points. We charge about 13.5% for that loan. And this other one will charge 13.99%. But that other one is only applicable to some schools and some kind of courses. So when you join the network, we get to decide which we give to you depending on the school and the course you're going for. The loan can be paid back in 10 years, but we encourage our candidates to pay back the loan in less than 10 years. So if you decide to pay back our loan in 5 years, we're only going to charge you interest for 5 years. There's no penalty on early repayments. The interest rate is fixed, so it does not change. It's not compounding. It's only calculated on reducing balance. It simply means that if you're owing us 10 naira last month and you pay 1 naira out of it, we'll then charge the next interest on the 9 naira, not on the 10 naira you were owing. So that's what they call on reducing balance. If you decide to pay back the loan a month after graduation, maybe you hit a financial windfall, you only pay interest for 1 month with our capital you've taken, with the principal you've taken already. So the earlier you pay, the better for you. And trust me, it is possible too. Very possible. And see the best part, as a student, you get to service the interest on the loan as a student. So as you get a part-time job, everybody is expected to get a job. Everybody. You get jobs. See, there's so many jobs on campus to do. All the campuses I've visited so far in the US, you get to see students working everywhere. Receptionist, call center, everywhere. So opportunity to work is available. Get to campus early, apply early, you will get the opportunity. Minimum, you can be earning about $2,000 per month. That is more than sufficient. So you will send money back home to your village people. And take care of your needs and service your interests. And remember, we've already paid for everything for you. So you're not really bothered about your daily needs. It's already met. You just need that servicing of the interest to build up your credit profile, because without the credit history, you will find it difficult to rent a house when you graduate. You find it difficult to open a bank account. You find it difficult to even access mortgage. You find it difficult to even get a car on credit. So having a credit score and a credit history makes a lot of sense for you. It's part of what allows you to acclimatize easily, get opportunities easily, because you have a financial history they can track. So we've not seen a case where candidates don't service their interest as at when due. People do so because, trust me, if you default in repaying your interest as at when due, hey, my guys, it can scatter your entire life, man. Everything will become expensive. Insurance expensive, health insurance expensive, car insurance expensive. You cannot access mortgage. Like, you'll practically be shut out of the benefits that comes with living in this climate. So trust me, people do not default in paying back their interest as at when due, or their principal and interest when they graduate as at when due. Of course, you can study in the US, and maybe in your first year, you already started working out your relocation to Canada, because it's Canada you really want to go to. Guys, it's possible. Once you relocate to Canada, get a job in Canada, please just let us know. Guys, I moved to Canada. I want to do auto debit. We debit my account directly. For that, we will give you a discount of 0.5% on your repayments, because you told us and you allow us to have direct debit on your account. So you don't have to study in the US and stay in the US. You don't have to study in Canada and stay in Canada. You can try to relocate anywhere else, wherever opportunity calls, so long as they're willing to pay well. Now, it's possible too that you might get partial funding. You might have your personal savings. You might get a partial scholarship. So we only give you the loan you need, not what your school says you must bring. If your school already give you 30% scholarship, like there's a school we have this very special partnership with in Washington, DC. They've told us that on average, most of their students get to enjoy between 30 to 50% scholarship. And they are willing to give that to a lot of people this fall semester, which is September. So for 2 years, you probably just spend about $30,000 to $40,000 on your tuition alone. That is very affordable when you compare to other schools. And of course, we mostly work towards September, which is this September, January, which is spring, or June, which is summer. Now, we realize that a lot of people are very busy. And also know that for some other persons too, they might have done a lot, but they might not have that perfect way to communicate what they've done. So Pro Connect decided to introduce this service, where we also help candidates run their school application. But you are going to be heavily involved in the process, because we're going to ask you questions. We have to understand your aspiration, we have to understand your experience, and we have to connect it to the course you want to study, and also connect it to your future potential. So you still have to think with your brain. Just that once you tell us your thoughts and your dream, we will now communicate that into writing on your behalf and help you submit your school application. So people get to pay for that extra service. And see the best part, Pro Connect so far, we have 100% success rate when it comes to helping our candidates, supporting our candidates submit their school application. We only do this if we know that you are truly busy, and we know that you truly have an exciting profile that we can communicate easily. We don't do this for desperados. So if you are coming to us like Pro Connect Pay, I want to access the service. That's why we made the service so expensive. Because we don't want every time they can come to us that I want the service. No. If you're coming to us, you're coming to us because you are worth it economically. And we know that with our minimal efforts and best way to put for you, you get admission. But it's an optional service. If you're like, oh, I can do my application on my own, we have a template on how to write your statement of purpose. We have a template on how to write your resume. We have a template on how to package up your LinkedIn profile. We'll share them with you. We are very big on sharing knowledge for free once you're a member of our community. But if you're like, oh, I want to put on my best foot, so I rather pay that extra money, ProConnect will be very happy to support you. Now, of course, the key questions people always ask us is, okay, Elder, so tell me, what are the things I'll spend money on to get to the point where I get admission, get a visa, and get out of this country? What will I spend money on? So the first things first, everybody that wants to access our services gets to pay a 35,000 naira membership fee. Like many of you are aware, ProConnect Pay does not have the $100,000 domiciled in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya. No, that money is domiciled in the US. We have a financial institution partner that provides the loan. You do not need a collateral. You don't need a guarantor. You don't need your destiny. You don't need your kidney. All you need is your good credit history, which means that you have collected a loan somewhere and you pay them as at when due. So even if you have a loan currently running, it does not matter to us. So long as you pay your loan as at when due, you do not have anybody you are owing money and they've reported your profile, your BVN, to credit bureau. So 2 things that qualifies you for the loan is, but let me say 3 things. Number 1, your good character. If you have a very bad or poor character, trust me, you'll be frustrated on our platform because we do not entertain nonsense and we don't entertain bad behavior. We don't. We're very, very, like, see, when I mean, we're very, very averse to bad behavior, bad attitude. So tell people, if you have bad attitude, keep it outside. If you bring it here and we get a whiff of it, trust me, we'll frustrate you. Because it's not our platform, you will exhibit that behavior and you expect that we're going to support you to live here. No. It's that same bad behavior you can't display abroad and disgrace us. So if you have a good attitude, you have a good disposition, you have a calm spirit, you have a good credit profile, you do not owe anybody money that they have blacklisted your name, you can owe. There's nothing bad in owing. So long as you are paying back as at when due, you are fine. And of course, you study a commercially relevant course. Don't come and tell us you want to study social work or education or social care worker. We will not fund you. Only commercially relevant courses. So once you satisfy these 3 things, and of course, you've gotten admission to university, our partner university, because our loans are only applicable to our partner universities, over 400 plus of them across the US and Canada. You will get our loan easily. But it's not hard. Approval comes in 48 hours. Sharp, sharp. Who will help you apply for the loan? So to access that our community, our platform, and all of the benefits that comes from being a part of that community, everybody pays a membership fee of 35,000. In fact, see, in August, we're having this major education fair that will be taking place at Marriott Hotel in GRA Ikeja, at Transcorp Hilton in Abuja, and at the Marriott Hotel in Accra, Ghana. At that event, we're increasing our membership fee to 50K, and that's how it will become going forward. Because like we tell people, it's not everybody's, see, we're not looking for everybody to relocate abroad or everybody to give a loan to. We have a specific number we work per annum. Once we hit that number, we used to pause till the new year again. Because whilst, of course, we're trying to accommodate as many persons as possible, we also want to ensure that those who are accommodating are truly high potential individuals that fit the dream, the mission, and the purpose of why ProConnect Pay does what it does, providing this pathway for people to acquire that global education. So everybody pays that membership fee of 35K. 35K from now till August 11th. Because by August 11th, we'll be in Abuja, Transcorp Hilton. By 12th, we'll be in Marriott Hotel in GRA Ikeja. And by 13th, we'll be in Marriott Hotel in Accra, Ghana. And at that point, the membership will be uniform across board, wherever you are in Africa. Now, like I mentioned before, if you are going for the PGD program, so let me say this now. If you are going for the PGD program, your course is a little different from the typical course of those going for BSc. Those of you going for the PGD in Canada, this college you partner with is called Ontario College of Management and Technology. Let me say it clearly. That college, they don't offer postgraduate work permits. And we chose them intentionally because we're enforcing the fact that you must go and do an MSc or an MBA. A PGD is not enough to keep you grounded and to keep you competitive over the years. So as a professional, the highest academic qualification you can go for yourself is that MBA or that MSc in a commercially relevant field. So we know Africans, we know how all of you are. Once you get there, you think, now I'm free, I can do anyhow. Trust me, if you decide not to further your education, you'll be forced to come back home with the debt you've taken. So we intentionally chose that college so that you are forced to go ahead and do your MBA or your MSc. You begin to apply for your MBA and MSc 6 months into your program. Once you've done 1 semester and you've seen your results for that semester, you do well, your third class will no longer matter. Your tutu will no longer matter. Every Canadian university will partner with will be hungry to admit you because they will now see that really your third class or your tutu is not a measurement of your potential. So everybody applying to this college in Canada, in Ontario, Ontario College of Management and Technology, third class guys, tutu guys going to Canada, this you get to pay an application fee of 165,000 naira. It's compulsory. Pay through ProConnect Pay. The college says everybody must pay. Don't waive it. Now, for those of you going for an MBA or MSc or the science program or the nursing program or the mathematics program, your school might waive application fee. They might even give waiver, but we still tell you to prepare your 165K just in case they don't waive it. If you even attend their informational session, you might even get a waiver. So very possible. If you are going for MBA or pure MSc, most Canadian schools for MBA, MSc, they don't waive application fee at all. Those guys, they like money like mad. Canadian schools. So if you are going for MBA, MSc in Canada, you're ready to pay an application fee. Budget 165K too. But if you are going to the US, you might see most schools that might give you an application fee waiver. Now, if you're also going for the PGD in Canada, everybody, once you've gotten admission, pays 500K tuition deposit. Now, let me say this. We also have a special relationship with this college in Canada. So 95% of the time, if you follow our advice and counsel, you have a good behavior, good character, trust me, you will get admission to that college easily. So once you've gotten the admission, you pay a tuition deposit of 500K. For people going for PGD. But if you are going for MBA or MSc, not all schools mandate that you should pay tuition deposits. In fact, 90% of our schools do not mandate tuition deposit. But we tell people, some of them might, so still budget around 250 or 200K, but 95% of them do not mandate tuition deposits. So it's not a must. But just in your mind, say, in case I chose this school and they say I must, like, see, we have a university called St. Louis University. It's one of the most popular schools for Africans. A lot of them get admission to that school easily, including HND guys. They used to mandate that you must pay a tuition deposit of about $200 or $250, which is about $1,000. So all candidates going for MBA, MSc, you will likely not see schools that will mandate to pay tuition deposit. But if you are going for PGD, you must pay that tuition deposit of 500K. Now, if you are going for PGD in Canada, the school does not mandate that you have to write GRE or IELTS or GMAT. No, they don't mandate it. If you are going for an MBA or an MSc in the US or Canada, a nursing program or mathematics program, most of the schools too don't mandate IELTS, TOEFL, GRE. Some of them may. We'll just tell you to avoid those kind of schools that suggest you have to write them. So once you've gotten admission, you now move over to your visa stage. Now, at this visa stage, you need ProConnect Pay to personally counsel you and also give you the amount you need to show as proof that you've acquired a loan. So before we issue that visa support and add it to our visa support group, you get to pay 80K. That 80K you are paying, we'll add it to a special visa support group. And we have somebody that will guide you in paying for your visa application. Visa application as at today is $160. In Naira, that's about 85,000 plus. If we help you do it. If you do it on your own, it's about 75,000. If we do it for you, it's 5K. You pay what they call a service fee. A service fee is paid to the US government. In Naira value, that's about 390 something thousand. As of today, it can change either lower or higher. If you're going to Canada, you don't pay service fee because Canadian schools don't say you must pay service fee. But Canadian schools can tell you that you have to pay tuition deposit. Visa application fee for Canada is around the same amount with the US application. I can't remember off my head. We're not going to pay service fee for Canada. Of course, the other things you pay for Canada is maybe like things like, you know, medical, police reports, all of those little things that Canada says you can bring to back up your application. You have to show home ties, all of those things, which will guide you on. So you get to pay 80K to access our visa support services. Then, of course, if you want ProConnect Pay, like I said earlier, to help you package up your resume, write your statement of purpose, including submitting your school application, we get to charge 567 naira for that service. Totally optional, completely optional. If you're going to Canada, it's almost the same thing. So the first major step, of course, we encourage everybody to take is becoming a member of our exclusive global education community. You get to pay your 35,000. Once you pay your 35,000, we add it to our WhatsApp group, assign a manager to you, we recommend 3 schools to you, and you start your school application. If you pay us to help you do your school application, then you just go and chill. After talking to you, engaging you, getting a sense of who you are and your aspiration and your work history, we then get to work in helping you submit your school application. Once you've gotten your admission, we then, of course, now let me say this, that ProConnect is helping you to do school application for your MBA or MSc. There's no 100% guarantee you get admission. The only guarantee we can give to you is for PGD. But for the MSc MBA, we cannot influence that. But we put in our best. So far, we've had 100% success rates. But we do not influence who gets admission for MBA or MSc. That is too high for us to influence. For the PGD, we can't influence that because we have a direct relationship with the admissions team. For the other schools, we mostly just have that financial relationship with them. But the good thing is, when we put in our best efforts, trust me, people always get admission. But I like to put out that disclaimer because we're not God and we don't know it all. So if someone does not get admission with the first try, you won't pay extra money anymore. We'll help you again, try to other schools. But we think that, okay, your profile can enable you to get admission easily. So I'm just putting this out as that disclaimer. So we don't say that, elders say they can guarantee us admission for MBA and MSc. No, we don't. Our record speaks to the fact that we've had admissions for everybody. But we'd like to still put the fact that in some cases, so you might not get admission because we do not influence who can get admission for an MBA or an MSc. The only place where our influence works is only for the PGD. And that's because we personally guide people very well on that. So that's the step, people, becoming a part of the network. Now see, the worst that can happen to us is, we come here, stay for 2 hours, 1 hour, we listen to all of these things, and at the end of the day, we still do not join the community. That's like absolutely weird and bonkers. So take that first step, pay that at 5K. Just by paying that money, you now join that community of over 2,000 plus people that are also willing to acquire that global education. They will now begin to work towards you're getting admission and you're getting out of this country. And just to see this, please, guys, let's keep track of our calendars. August 11th, we'll be in Abuja at the Transcorp Hilton. August 12th, we'll be in Marriott Hotel in GRA Ikeja in Lagos. Then August 13th, we'll be in Marriott Hotel in Accra in Ghana. So wherever you want to travel from, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Kaduna, Katsina, and Enugu, down to Lagos, we'll be very happy to welcome you to the Center of Excellence, to the seat of power in Abuja, and to the seat of power in Accra, Ghana. So at this point, I will just take questions in the comments. Please, if you have any question, I would love for you to drop your questions in the comment. But if you feel I've answered all of your questions, guys, please, you can just say, oh, Elder, you've answered my questions, man. Whilst you were, of course, giving the explanation. So I'll take questions now for about 30 minutes before, of course, we call it a beautiful day today. So I need to go and read the comment from the very beginning because I have like over 500 plus messages I need to read. So let me see. Okay. So I can see all of the intros that were dropped. All of the intros that were dropped. Okay. Okay, so a lot of intros were dropped at the beginning. Thank you to everyone that dropped their intro. So let me see. Okay, yeah, so I started seeing where people were now validating themselves. I have what it takes. I'm high potential. Thank you. Yes, I love that. Thank you very much for everyone of you that validated, of course, who you are. That makes a lot of sense. Trust me, it goes a long way in giving you the right kind of mindset. I love this. What if I have an MBA year? So Regina, I see you say, what if you have an MBA year already in Nigeria? Regina, if you have an MBA, it does not matter to us. So the only thing, of course, is you're not going to see it in your application that you have an MBA. You have to remove from your CV and your LinkedIn profile because you cannot have an MBA realistically and say, oh, the one on that MBA. It's just like, discretion. So, because in their mind, we might think that the MBA you did is the same thing with their own MBA, but it's obviously not the same in terms of the quality standard and the opportunities it presents to you post-graduation. So if you have an MBA, it does not matter. You can do another MBA, but of course, you would have to move all of that information from your CV, your SOP, including, of course, your LinkedIn profile. Then, when, of course, you move over to the US or Canada. So Taufik, anyone above 50 years old. So our age limit is at 50. Above 50 might be very difficult, majorly because of looking at the timeline of the loan repayments. So there's no harm in trying, Taufik. There's no harm in trying. You can probably try for Canada. No harm at all in trying. So no harm in trying. There's no age limit that say someone can have at this age. People work in the US till 70, 75 years old. So you still have like 25 years in front of you. So you can try. No harm in trying. Of course, Oluwa Seun, 13 years banking experience, third class in economics. That's a straight and accounts and finance PGD. Then you do 1 year MBA in Canada. So Regina is totally, just like my colleague already said, you can either go for an MBA or an MSc. Your career path so far will determine what you really want to do. But trust me, I can tell you for free that the MBA you did back in Nigeria or wherever you're connecting from, it's not the same MBA you will do in the US or Canada. It's not the same at all. So if you ask me, I would even rather you go for an MBA again. It is not, see, the advantage of an initial MBA is that you become a star woman in your class. When people go to say, this girl has things well, how does she know stuffs? Well, your code, you've done an MBA before. So it makes sense, man, for you to go for another MBA. In this climate environment, it is not the same. Trust me, it is never the same. So, Shegun, your CGPA is quite low. But now, it depends on your years of work experience. If you are below 35 years old, we would encourage you to go for a 2-year BSc. But if you're like, I have good work experience, I worked for about 10 years, 7 years, I'd like to go for a master's, then yes, you can try for the US. Joy, what schools accept BSc MBA for HND? Joy, join the platform now. Once you become a member of the platform, we'll share that information with you. We know schools that accept HND graduates in the US that have admitted our candidates. So join the platform. That will be my advice. You will get those specific schools. We have over 400 schools. So go through that list. You'll just be suffering your brain. Join the network. Once you join the network, we can then recommend schools to you that accept HND graduates. Ajibade, an HND graduate cannot do PGD again. We've cancelled out that PGD pathway for HND graduates. That PGD pathway for HND graduates is giving us issues for some of our candidates. So we decided to move every one of them. Either you go and do a direct master's in the US or you go and do a BSc, 2 years BSc in the US or Canada. So there's no longer PGD to master's pathway is no longer applicable to HND graduates. We've cancelled that pathway for HND graduate, but we've created 2 pathways for you. One pathway is to go and do a direct master's in the US, or the other pathway, if you are below 35 years old, is to go and do a BSc, a 2 years BSc. And you know why we created this pathway now for BSc? A candidate on our platform about 2 weeks ago got a visa to Canada, and that guy is above 35 years old. But he has worked in the banking sector for more than 13 years. But he's over 35 years old, and he's doing 2-year BSc at the University of Lethbridge, BSc management. So trust me, man, it's very possible as a 35-year-old, even above, below 40 to get the 2 years BSc and get visa to go to Canada. Very possible. I was saying this based on the confidence of the fact that, man, a candidate on our platform got his visa approved weeks ago, just 2 weeks ago, yeah. Regina, we fund up to 2 years of study. So it's dependent on the school and the course you are going to, the duration. If the school says it's a 2-year MBA, we'll fund it. If they say 1-year MBA, we'll fund it. Clement, I think I'm answering that question on the procedures for applying for an MBA. The first step you need to take is becoming a part of the network, We do not fund candidates to the UK. We do not fund candidates to the UK. We fund candidates to the UK only if you're an high income earner. So that's, we don't talk much about UK openly because the kind of people who target for the UK are mostly senior business executives, people that work as directors, senior managers in the banking space, FMCG, telecom industry. These are guys that earn more than 40 to 50 million naira per annum. So we don't talk about a UK pathway openly. It's mostly targeted at the big boys, the very big boys, financially and economically. So, Cookie, you cannot do a master's directly in Canada. Like I already mentioned, you have a 2-2, man. So you can't. The only option you have is to go and do a master's in the US. That's the only option you have, to go and do a master's in the US. So, Adenle, it totally depends on your degree. If you have a 2-1, a first class, and of course you have a background in computer science, but you work in the business industry, my guy, yes, now your degree does not matter to us. What matters to us is your work experience. That's what matters to us, your work experience. So it's very possible, yes, to go and do a master's, MSc in business analytics. We don't have a PhD in business analytics. For those of you that are looking at the PhD pathway is only applicable to, look at it here, only applicable to graduates of a university with third class and graduates of a university with a 2-2. And under that PhD pathway, you will see that there are only courses. These are the only courses to support for PhD. These are the only courses to support for PhD. So anybody coming to us for PhD, these are the only courses you can do for PhD. But if you have a 2-1 or a sharp 2-2, Adenle, and do an MSc in business analytics in Canada, I can tell you schools off my head that offer MSc in business analytics. Very makes sense, sweet course. So, John, very possible. I like what you said. You already said something that caught my attention. You have an ISC2 certificate in cybersecurity. It means you already started building the foundation to want to study this in Canada. So, yes, you can do a PhD in cybersecurity, then do an MS in cybersecurity. Very possible. So, Oluwakayode Ateji, you have an MBA in this, MS in public health. I don't know how that's connected to data science, because I'm not seeing the correlation at all, except you're telling me that you currently work as a data scientist. But if you want to study a course that is health-oriented and still connected to data science, go for health informatics. Health informatics. That's the kind of course that will make sense for you. But MSc data science, I'm not seeing the correlation between your degrees and your, although you didn't say anything about your work experience, but the best you can go for is health informatics, is the health part of data science, or the data science part of health, or whichever way is described. But health informatics is usually you dealing with the health sector, data, and of course tech. You want specific question on whether you write IELTS, GRE, blah, 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 blah. Oh, join the network, man. Join the network. Join the network. Join the network. That's the only way you can be guided. Take that action and join the network. Miriam, I'm interested in the USA. Join the network. Take that first step. Pay your membership fee. Become a part of the network. I have an HND in accounting. Over 15 years. Jude, you have two options, man. You can either go for a direct MBA in the US, or yes, you can actually go for the PhD. No, you're an HND graduate, so you cannot do PhD. So you only have one option. Now you have 15 years experience. So Jude, I would encourage you, go for an MBA in the US, focus on financial accounting. Trust me, you see schools with your background that are willing to admit you. HND no longer go for the PhD pathway. We no longer fund HND for the PhD to master's pathway because of the qualification, the West valuation thingy that we discovered recently. You are going to have issues getting admission to do an MBA or an MSc when you graduate from the PhD. And we don't lie to our candidates. And we also bobo people too. We say things the way they are. So whenever information updates or changes, we always tend to also update that information with our candidates. So Insem Obong, BSc accounting, you want to go for cybersecurity. If you have done anything cybersecurity oriented, yes, you can stand the chance of getting admission. But if it's just, I want to switch my career, my guy, it does not look like that, or my lady. It doesn't work like that. We don't fund switching careers. You have to study something consistent with your work experience. So you have a BS in accounting. I don't know what your degree level is. You didn't say you have a 2-1 or a 2 or a third class graduate, but you have to study a course consistent with your work experience. You have a business, go for an MBA. But that's dependent on your degree. And of course, your grade, I mean, if it's 2-1, 2-2, first class, third class. So, but there's nothing like, I want to switch to cyber. You cannot switch unless you started making moves in that direction by either working there or getting knowledge in that particular field that you already practice. So Abdulrahim, I guess my colleague have answered you. Third class in civil engineering with 6 years work experience. So you can do a 1-year PGD Lugard and of course a 1-year master's because you have a BSc. I don't understand what you mean by what of those of us at the University of Ibadan. I don't know what that means. So Aliyah, that makes sense. Insurance something for 2 of my kids for undergraduate studies. So beautiful, Aliyah. So you can connect with my colleagues. Please, my colleagues, you guys can chat them up. Any one of you that are currently in 300 level, you can transfer and continue your education abroad. For those of you that have kids that are currently in undergraduate that probably want to enter school, they will start their 2 years here, then transfer, of course, and continue their education in the US or Canada. So Lone Wolf, if you have SSC and you're below 22 years old, you can get admission to one of our private university partners. Start your first year, second year, then transfer to the US or Canada to conclude your education. Oh, that's, in fact, Miriam, I know a school you can apply for biomedical engineering that will admit you in 1 week. Miriam, if you join today, before this month's end, you'll get admission to that school. If you join the network today, I know one school in Washington, DC, that will admit you before the month's end. So long as you have a 2-1, 3.0 and above, or good work experience, they are willing to admit candidates and they'll give you up to 30-50% scholarship. For this biomedical engineering you want to study, they offer that program in that school. That school is in Washington, DC. It's called Catholic University of America. They are based here in DC, over 100 years old university. So, fast, so exciting. If you join today, we start your application immediately. Within a week or 2, you will get your admission, you move to your visa stage immediately. Bro, Mibol, you have an excellent background now. Computer science, startup founder, software developer, see all your plenty, make sense, career path. My guy, let's go and do tech MBA now. Oh, I know this STEM MBA you will do in Georgia here. The good thing about Georgia is that it's a very big Black community, like very big Nigerian community. Emory University in Georgia offers STEM MBA. If you're a fintech founder, University of Connecticut has masters in fintech. So, bro, so many things for you. So, my guy, see, get started immediately. Get started. That's the odds. Get started. Like, your opportunities are limitless. Your profile absolutely makes sense. Don't need to talk too much. You are overqualified, man. Musbauddin, 11 years ago, HND graduate, electrical engineering. My guy, you are overqualified, man. Go and look for an M-Engine program or MSc program you can do in the US. If you are still comfortable, like, oh, I'm still below 40 years old. I graduated 11 years ago, and I'm willing to do a 2-year BSc. You can even do a 2-year BSc in US or Canada in the same electrical engineering. Lugard, that's a funny question, man. I do not give visa. It's not my job to issue you a visa. My job is to provide you with a loan. So you cannot ask me that was the success rate, even if my colleague has answered that question. But I still find it a very weird question. We do not determine who gets a visa. You're only guided by ProConnect Pay to go for your visa interview. Thousands of people go for visas interview every day, and they also go for student visas interview. So we guide you to succeed, but it's not my job to tell you what my success rate is. I'm not trying to prove to you what my success rate is. The question is that does ProConnect Pay provide loans for people to study abroad? Yes, we do. That is what concerns you. So if you ask me what's my success rate in terms of loan approval, I will tell you for free, like I already mentioned before. Your good character, your good credit score, get admission, and of course, study commercially relevant course, you will get admission, you will get approved for the loan. But when it comes to visa, I cannot answer that kind of question. We do not give visas. It's not my responsibility to tell you what the success rate is so far. Taufik, so like I said, we do not fund PhD. We don't fund PhD. You have 2 masters. My guy, having 2 masters in Nigeria or Ghana means nothing, man. when of course you want to acquire a master's degree in the US or Canada. So 2 masters, makes sense, right. But once you come to this climb, you will discover that these are 2 masters, probably was looking like SSC or 100 level course. Trust me, you cannot compare a master's degree you get in the US or Canada to any master's degree you get, even if it's from a Covenant University in Nigeria. You can't compare them. They are not the same in any way. The experience, the exposure, the knowledge is completely different. If your long-term goal is to pursue a PhD in accounting, I already mentioned it at the beginning, you can. It's totally your responsibility. But we only fund 2 years program and only fund MBA, MSc, or BSc 2 years program. Ahmed, my guy, there's no problem, man. 5 years ago and above, why not? Like I already mentioned, you have 2 options. You can either go for a direct master's in the US, or you can still go for the MSc program in the US or Canada. Because if you graduated 5 years ago, is it possible you graduated 10 years ago? And maybe you graduated at the age of maybe like 20, 21, 22, 25. So you're still like 35 years below 40. You can go for either the direct MSc, MBA in the US, or you can go for a 2-year BSc in Canada or the US. But of course, if anyone is going for BSc, we encourage most of them, go for Canada. Canada is more amenable to accepting older candidates for BSc. The interest rate is charged per annum, Regina, per annum. If I charge you 12.99% monthly, Regina, you're going to faint. Ash, if you have admission in Canada, so long as it's a partner school, we'll give you a loan. And of course, it's a commercially relevant course. So you may want to answer us by telling us what course you got admission for and which school did you get admission to. So Shegun, the same answer I'm going to give to you, man. Your work experience matters. We do not encourage anybody. We do not encourage anybody to start switching aimlessly. You cannot just switch because they told you that this particular field makes sense. If you say you want to switch to data analytics, have you been working there, even if it's as an intern or a volunteer, that you can put on your CV and say that I've been working in this field. So if you have not done any of such, you have to study a course consistent with your first degree or your work experience. So someone that's working in education, that's tricky. Education, what is she teaching? Is she teaching chemistry? If she's teaching chemistry in school, my guy, let her just go and do MSc in biochemistry or chemistry. She will get excellent opportunities post-graduation. That's a course-term course, Ibrahim said, by no means annually. Don't mind some of my fellow Nigerians. Olufemi, if you're doing this for your son, of course, yes, your son is one that is going to be a member of our platform. Ayodele, that's a funny question, man. How can you say I should kindly state commercially relevant courses? I've already told you what it is now. Business courses, science courses, technology courses, engineering courses, mathematics courses. Underneath it, you have a lot of programs. So it's very to figure out, don't come and tell me what I should state. No. You that is coming to us, you already know what you want to do. So rather ask me that, Elder, is this program a commercially relevant course? Is where when we say we should state it. There are over 1,000 courses that are deemed commercially relevant. So rather ask me that, Elder, this course I want to do, is it a commercially relevant course? I cannot give you my opinion if it is or not. Not saying I should state commercially relevant courses. That's weird. Ayo, that's your responsibility, man. If your school says you should pay for your tuition deposit, that is your responsibility. Our loan only kicks into effect once you've gotten your visa and gotten into the US or Canada. If I start counting the loan against you, why should I stay in Nigeria? Can you service the interest in Nigeria? Of course, no. So, Ajibade, when you say, can I study management course? That's a weird question also. You cannot just tell us, can you study? We need to first understand what your background is. What have you done? What's your work experience? How many years work experience do you have? Only when we know that, then we cannot advise you. So my advice is this: join the network. Forget I should be paid after 700K. You don't need 700K. You don't need it. What you need immediately is your 35K first. Join and get more information based on your context of your personal experience. So the first thing you need to have, prepare, is your 35K. Once you pay the membership fee, you join the network. we can then advise and guide you appropriately. So you don't need 700K to start. If everybody has to prepare 700K to start, nobody will ever start in this life. So start with the list. And what's the most important part? Joining the network, getting access to 3 schools. Based on your work experience, we can now advise you, do this or do this or do that. If why are you asking me this kind of funny question now? Why? We already told you what the loan covers. You're not saying how much is that in total. Like, seriously, I don't know the school you are going to. I don't know the course you are going for. You're already asking us how much is that in total. No, now, if you don't do like this now, and don't do like this now. It's only when you've gotten admission and we see the details of the school, what they say is your school fees, your cost of living. Can we know how much you would need? We have over 400 schools and over 5,000 courses. Do you really expect that I should carry, like we should carry, this course in this school, this is what they charge? No, nah, my guy. No, nah. You need to get that admission or even identify the school to know what their tuition is, to know what their cost of living is, to know what their health insurance is. It's only flight ticket and cost of gadget that can place a figure for you. But every other thing, we cannot really place a figure because it's totally dependent on the cost and the school they are going to. Inside now for you. How can you say if you pay application fee to a school and you don't get admission, you write JAMB and you don't get admission to the university, you can't tell JAMB, please refund me back my money I paid for the JAMB. Like seriously, say but why? So we recorded it, but we didn't record it from the very beginning. So you might probably not get the full gist from the very beginning. Francisca, so long as you're a student in Canada and you are a student that is with a valid student visa, everybody can get a job part-time. What we are saying is when you're done with your PGD, you are moving straight on to go and do your master's or your MBA, MSc or your MBA. That's the point we're making. Your work permit is only applicable when you graduated from school. You cannot talk about work permit when you've not graduated from school. What you have is a student and a student visa that allows you to work part-time as a student. So you just get all those on-the-table, blue-collar kind of office jobs. But when you now graduate, that's when you need a working permit. And of course, the school, the university you go to do your MBA or your MSc, every one of them have that work permit opportunity. But the PGD, we intentionally chose a school that does not offer that so that we know that when you're done your PGD, you must go and do an MBA or an MSc. Of course, you can pay on behalf of your spouse, your children, your family member, your cousin, your colleague, anybody who wants to pay on behalf, man, you can. Wow, for you, Bale, which kind of question be this? My fellow Nigerians, I like to ask this question. Can I travel with my family? My guy, you're going for a student visa. You want to travel with your family. Do you want to get denied a visa? Like, seriously. Do you want to get denied a visa? You will get denied. Whether it's from Canada or US, you will get denied instantly. You're supposed to show that you have home ties. I want to pack your family members with you. You will get denied easily. Why not go first? Settle down. Start your education. Graduate. Then you can move your family. If you're going to Canada, you can even start moving your family immediately you've landed in Canada. You can start moving them. You can start their process to join you immediately. But for the US, it makes more sense. They graduate. Whilst you're in the US as a student, you can be sending them money back home and they'll be very happy with you. You are sending them tangible money. Why don't you apply with your family for a student visa? You get denied now. That is you now abusing the reason for why you want to go and study abroad. So we don't encourage anybody to say how to go with my family members because it's totally unrealistic. You will not get a visa. Anybody that tells you can get a visa is just lying to you. Yes, Ibrahim, you can start your application now. That's a very good question. Annie Inena Esther, that's an excellent question. So yes, you can actually transfer from Canada when you're done with your PGD to go and do your master's degree in the US. That's a very good question. And Inena or Esther, that's a very good question. So yes, you can actually do a PGD in Canada. Then now transfer to go and do an MSc or MBA in the US. Very possible, so long as you get a visa. Okay, guys, I have just about 7 minutes to wrap up this webinar for today. So my question will be this, please. This is what I'm going to say. Anybody that invited you to today's webinar, please, I would love for you to go back to them. whatever other questions you have that you think has not been answered in this particular webinar, I'm very sure I've touched every area I can touch. But if you want specific response on, what if I have this? What if I have this? What can I do? I will advise you go back to the person that invited you. Then we can now onboard you. I have to wrap up in 6 minutes. So I'm going to pick random questions that I think, okay, I've not been answered at all. So when it comes to POF, what will those ProConnect pay? For, my guy, why are you coming to ProConnect pay if not for proof of funds? Like, if not for that purpose? We give you a letter that clearly states how much we're funding you to. We also support you with a bank statement that clearly shows that, there's money to actually pay your fees. Is that not why you're coming to us? Because you want funding. So if you're coming to us and you get funding, why will we not support you when it comes to the POF? That's like typical now. But the guy's funding you. We have to state it clearly that we're funding you. So we have a process in place that clearly communicates that both to the Canadian Visa Center and, of course, to the US Embassy or the schools you're applying to. Francisca, like I mentioned before, so long as your husband is willing to do a 2 years BSc, it's very fine. So you don't have to Ama, he has 11 years experience. It doesn't matter. So long as he's below 40 years old and he's willing to do 2 years BSc, very fine. Bale, yes, you can do an MBA so long as you have a 2-1, and I don't think that your CGPA is a 2-1. That's 3.35. So that doesn't look like a 2-1 to me. That looks like a 2-2. So with your background, you can go and do an MBA or an MSc in the US. That's your option. Those are your options available. So guys, please, like I said before, I'm going to put a pause now because I've exceeded my time by 30 minutes. I need to run, to other meetings. I've already almost like noon over here. That's like almost 3 hours of talking. So I need to rush down for other meetings I have right now here in Georgia. Whilst, of course, you guys are public holiday in Nigeria, it's like a full work day here in the US. So I need to run. I've exceeded my time by over 30 minutes now. So please, whoever invited you to this webinar, please, I would encourage you, go back to those guys, tell them, guys, I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to onboard and, of course, join the ProConnect network. Thank you very much, for connecting to this webinar. My name is Elder, and, of course, I'm speaking to you live from Atlanta in Georgia. I'll be very happy. Now, from this week into over the next 2-3 weeks, I'll be traveling to about 20 states in the US, visiting students in each of the campuses that were funded successfully. And I look forward, of course, to welcoming every one of you to the US also, or to Canada. In September, I'll be in Canada, to also encourage a lot of our candidates who successfully funded to Canada. So guys, I look forward, of course, to welcoming you to the network, but more importantly, I look forward to welcoming you in the US and, of course, in Canada. So that when you get that admission, like, ProConnect pay, yeah, thank you guys, man. I remember coming to this platform, hearing all of these things, and taking that first action by becoming a part of the network. This is the same kind of testimony a lot of our candidates get to share with us. So I look forward, of course, to welcoming every one of us to the network. Please and please go back to the person that invited you to this webinar and let them know that you are ready to get started. What's the next move? I need the account details to make my payment. Thank you. God bless us, and have a wonderful evening and afternoon over here. Bye.
I'll be on the phone, calling you tonight. I wanna make you show me, make we know the fight. I don't wanna sleep alone, wanna hold you tight, but I fool my eyes. But I'll be alright. Forever, oh my laptop, oh my keto, oh my shit on. Say them go feel it, them go run it down. Them go hold it, them go. Say them go feel it, them go run it down. Them go hold it, them go. I'll be talking to myself, and I don't even notice. She got me feeling like a zombie, and she they shoot like Chuck Norris. The It's your time, baby. Get wild, baby. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you. That body make me stop the world. Feel my thug passion. Be what you ask for. So tell me if you want action. Until the lights back on. I got the one we could last long. And I never knew my chance. Feel like what I waited for night long. I pull up in my fashion. Every light flashing anyway. We can go ahead and just head out until up in my villa to get out the whole night. Just get in the drop top, take the head out and cruise with your head outside. Go ahead, it's your time, baby. It's your time, baby. Get wild, baby. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you. Nobody make me stop the world. So tell me what do we do when these people don't know what you've been through? You survive through the night, through the darkest of times. It's only right that you do what you like. Go ahead, it's your time, baby. It's your time, baby. Get wild, baby. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you. Nobody make me stop the world. Go ahead, it's your time, baby. It's your time, baby. Get wild, baby. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you.
So here we go now. Why you gotta feel so right? Why you gotta leave me open wide? Love it when you love me right. Why you gotta take over my mind every time? Why you gotta take over my mind every time? Why you gotta leave me hypnotized? But I want you in my arms, yeah. So can I get a for the lovers tonight? Love it when it's just right. It's about to go down. So here we go now. Why you gotta feel so right? Why you gotta leave me open wide? Love it when you love me right. Why you gotta take over my mind every time? Why you gotta take over my mind every time? Why you gotta leave me hypnotized? You got my mind, girl, spinning round and round. You gotta spin it so far away, girl, where it can't be found. Just gonna admit it to all my lovers tonight. Love it when it's just right. It's about to go down. So here we go now. Why you gotta feel so right? Why you gotta leave me open wide? Love it when you love me right. Why you gotta take over my mind gotta leave me hypnotized.
The other sun and the moon bow for you, but you won't open your eyes. I'm all by my cracket. I see a rook of my bye. Tick tock, pretty baby. You can get it back, don't you waste it. Grow from your past, gotta face it. Oh yeah. You're the key to the kingdom. Oh, you are the remedy. Don't know what's inside. But you're the key to the kingdom. You're the key to the kingdom. So believe, even if you can't see, I'll never leave. 'Cause you're the key to the kingdom. You're the key to the kingdom. Get some things you have to know. It go hard for man to grow. When you feel you've had enough, you gotta breathe. Just remember who you are. You forget, look to the stars. Even the strong get weak. But you're the key, you're the key. How pretty, baby. You can get it back, don't you waste it. To grow from your past, gotta face it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Tick tock, pretty baby. You can get it back, don't you waste it. To grow from your past, gotta face it. Oh yeah, you're the key to the kingdom. Oh, you are the remedy. Don't know what's inside. But you're the key to the kingdom. You're the key to the kingdom. So believe, even if you can't see, I'll never leave. 'Cause you're the key to the kingdom. You're the key to the kingdom.
Just like the tree, just like the Chinese bamboo tree. See, eyes might not see the greatness inside you.